Last week we were lucky enough to get our hands on the brand new Sigma 85mm 1.4 art lens, which was developed from the ground up specifically for mirrorless cameras. If you want to see the previous video where we unboxed it for the first time and ran through some of the new features, you can do that here. But in this video, we're going to be putting the lens through its paces out in the field and seeing just how good the image quality is. Just as a heads up, get your stab vest ready because things are going to get sharp. Before we get started with the lens test, I just want to clarify that this is a completely independent test. Although Sigma were really kind to lend us this lens, we do have to give it back and we are not being paid to make this video. Any of the opinions that I express in this video are purely my own and based off the evidence that we've collected and my own experience with this lens. So for our test, we headed out into the middle of nowhere on one of the hottest days of the year so far with our model Amber to test out the lens. Because it was so bright and there was no cloud cover, we had to use some backlighting with the sun positioned behind Amber in order to get some sort of nice diffused lighting. Historically, some lens and camera setups do struggle when shooting into direct sunlight, so we figured that this would be a pretty good test for our lens. Now, as we've already mentioned, this new 85mm has been designed from the ground up specifically to fit onto full-frame mirrorless cameras. So it's kind of no surprise that when it was mounted to my Sony A7III, it felt really well balanced and didn't feel front heavy, unlike its predecessor, which was designed way back in the day for DSLRs, which can take much heavier lenses. Although the new 85mm lens comes with that really nice manual aperture ring, I did find myself just sticking it onto automatic mode and using the back of my camera because that's kind of what I'm used to. While shooting with the lens, I found that the AF was really accurate. There was no signs of hunting or anything like that. It managed to lock onto Amber's face using the camera's face detect and IAF, and it worked seamlessly more or less every single time. Speaking of IAF, that's exactly what I set the custom button on the side of the lens to, so it meant that whilst I was cradling the lens in my hand, I could quite easily reach the button with my thumb and enable IAF. If you have a Sony camera and you're wondering how the hell do I set up my custom button, well don't worry, this is how you do it. In the settings menu, go over to the second tab of options, then navigate to the 8th page. You want to find the option that says custom key with a little mountain picture next to it. Within this, go over to the 3rd page and then find the option for focus hold button. Select it and then go down the available options until you find IAF. Whilst we're in the field, we also tested out how the lens would fare whilst focusing during video recording too. Although my Sony A7III doesn't have eye detect during video recording, the face detection worked really well with this lens and we got some really good results. After the shoot, I reviewed the images and I was absolutely blown away. Sigma had previously warned me that this is probably one of the sharpest lenses they've ever developed, and they really weren't kidding. In a previous life, I used to review lenses for a photography magazine, and I can honestly tell you this is by far one of the sharpest lenses I have ever shot with. Throughout the shoot, I was shooting predominantly wide open at f1.4, and even so, the shots were super sharp with very little evidence of chromatic aberration. Obviously, shooting portraits with an 85mm lens wide open, you're going to get a really nice shallow depth of field, and to me the bokeh looked just perfect. One thing to bear in mind though is that when Sigma were developing this lens, in order to keep the weight and the size down, they had to sacrifice some of the in-lens corrections that you would find in most other lenses. So for example, things that would correct distortion and vignetting, those things had to be put to one side while Sigma focused solely on making a super sharp lens. Now that's not such a big deal because they've taken advantage of some of Sony's in-camera corrections that will fix this. However, you will need to enable these before shooting, otherwise you're going to find some fairly severe levels of pincushion distortion in your images. If you don't know how to turn these corrections on, then this is how you do it. In the settings menu, go to the 1st tab of options and then navigate to the 2nd page and locate the option that says lens comp. Within these options, make sure all of the settings are set to auto. So in conclusion, where do we land? Well, For me, it's a no-brainer. If you're a portrait photographer and you're looking for a really sharp 85mm lens, then this is probably for you. I think the only sticking point for most people is going to be the price. When this lens is released at the end of the month, it's going to come out at £999, or that would be $1,199. Now that's not a cheap lens. However, if you consider the high performance of this lens and compare it to something like the Sony G Master 85mm, which is almost £500 more, this is kind of a bargain. Anyway, that wraps up things for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to find out more about the Sigma 85mm lens, you can do using the link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well, because in an upcoming video, we're going to be pitching this Sigma 85 against the Samyang 85mm 1.4 and also the Sony 85mm 1.4 to see which of the three options is going to be the best. So you don't want to miss out on that. Subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. I don't know why I said that.